Welcome back to the Property Apprentice Podcast. I'm your host, Debbie Roberts, financial advisor and owner of Property Apprentice. And today I've got some big KiwiSaver updates from the government's latest budget announcement. So KiwiSaver changes, let's talk about it. Whether you're saving for your first time, planning for retirement, or just trying to wrap your head around the latest policy shift, this episode is for you. So let's dive in. As of May 22nd, 2025, the government announced some very significant changes to your KiwiSaver. Now, before you panic, don't worry. I'm going to break this down and help you figure out exactly what this means for you. Let's get started with some good news. Under the new rules, 16 and 17-year-olds who are working will now receive employer matching contributions and government contributions into their KiwiSaver accounts. Previously, you had to wait till you turned 18 to get that. So this means that teens can start building up their savings much earlier, which is a huge win if you ask me. It's really going to help a lot more people get into their first home. Compound interest loves time, and these young savers are now getting a head start on building that house deposit or their retirement nest egg, or both. If only I could go back and tell my 16-year-old self to start investing earlier. Now let's talk about contribution rates. Currently, the default employee and employer contribution rate is 3%. Under the new rules, that default rate will rise to 3.5% on the 1st of April 2026 and then to 4% by the 1st of April 2028. The government says this will help grow KiwiSaver balances faster and reduce long-term financial stress in retirement, which makes sense. A higher contribution means a bigger balance further down the line. But it's not mandatory. Employees will still have the option to opt back down to 3% if the higher rate just isn't doable due to the current economic climate. Fingers crossed it'll start improving by that point. But even better, if you do opt down, your employer will still match that 3%. After 12 months, your rate resets to the default, but you can choose to opt down again. So yes, it is a little bit of a merry-go-round, but at least it keeps things flexible. I highly recommend, though, that if you don't have to reduce your KiwiSaver back down to 3%, don't, because you will be missing out on growth further down the track. Now, here comes the bit that your wallet might not be thrilled about. Starting on 1st of July this year, the annual KiwiSaver contribution from the government is being halved from $521 a year to $260.72. And for those earning over $180,000 in taxable income, that government contribution is being removed completely. The Finance Minister, Nicola Willis, says this is all about sustainability and reducing the cost burden on taxpayers. We do have an ageing population after all. The government is expecting to save around $3 billion over the next 4 years as a result of these changes. On the one hand, sure, that's fiscally responsible. On the other hand, if you're someone who relies on that annual top-up from the government, this might feel like a step backward. So what does it all mean for you if you're a first home buyer or planning for retirement? While cutting the government contribution might be a bit disappointing for you, increasing the default contribution to 4% will help your balance grow faster, especially with your employer matching that level of 4% contributions. If you're still eligible for the government contribution, you'll still need to contribute at least $1,042.86 a year, which is just over $20 a week, in order to get the full $260.72 from the government. Might not be as much as before, but free money is still free money. Looking at the bigger picture, it's a bit of a blend of wins and losses. On one hand, we're getting younger people into the system earlier, and employees contributing more will see their balances grow faster. On the other hand, the reduction and removal of government contributions might feel a bit harsh, especially for those already on tight budgets. But seriously, anyone earning over $180,000 earns more than enough to sort out their own retirement. They shouldn't need the government contribution. I personally think it's going to be much better served using that to contribute to the KiwiSaver funds of 16 and 17-year-olds instead. For most Kiwis, especially younger workers and average income earners, this is still likely to be a net positive in the long run. And for parents out there, this might be the perfect time to encourage your kids to get that part-time job and start contributing to KiwiSaver. Hey, if you're unsure how these changes might affect your financial position by the time you reach the age of 65, check with your KiwiSaver advisor or have a look at the KiwiSaver calculator on the Sorted website. That's sorted.org.nz. They've already updated the calculator to reflect these changes. You can punch in all your details and it's free to use. Thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Property Apprentice Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with anyone in your life who's got a KiwiSaver account or who is about to start one. Look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thanks for listening. Hey there, want to stay on top of the latest property news and trends? Subscribe to the Property Apprentice Podcast for weekly updates that will help you to navigate the market like a pro. We cover everything from insider tips to expert interviews, so you'll always be in the know. And don't forget to ring the bell and hit that subscribe button here on our YouTube channel for even more helpful content to boost your property journey. Check out the link in the description to subscribe to the podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Happy investing.